Okay guys, welcome back. So we've ran over the product, we've kind of discussed the differences, then the new elements that we've got with MP20. We're going to test it.
Yes.
We're going to run it through its paces.
SELs.
So, SELs, which you were excited about when you heard that.
Absolutely. I don't think any lefties weren't excited. I think most people were pretty into it.
If you're looking at that sort of player's iron and that sort of category, and you've always wanted an MP product to get in your hands, like you and I talked about, Chris, it's been a while, so it's nice that sort of you can sort of test that and have that option.
Very true.
Yeah, we're excited to launch something a little bit different to the lefty market, just because it's been so common that you just get to almost have to take what's given to you. Right. So we wanted to try to make sure that we gave a little bit of all of the technologies of the MP20 line and put them into what we saw as one of the best combo sets available.
Very cool. So we're going to run through 3 different irons. We're going to run through like a short iron, get a little feel for the scoring clubs. We're going to go into the middle iron, and then we're going to test the HMB and see how you feel with the transition, see if we see some trajectory differences and nuances that we can pick up on.
Yeah, excited for those for sure.
All right, so 150 about your number on
should be today. This is the 9 iron.
Okay, great. Let's have a little look.
Skinny. So Chris, you were saying that you're not trying to mask miss hits, like people should essentially almost feel a miss hit more than they're used to, or?
Yeah, so when we're designing feel into a golf club, there's a couple things we do. We always try to manipulate and make sure we have the grains flowing in the right directions. That's going to give you a longer vibration. So we don't want to dampen vibration. Right. Because when you dampen one vibration, you dampen all vibration. So you kind of take feel away. It's on us as engineers to make sure that the feel is right, meaning that we're hitting the right frequencies. So with our harmonic impact technology, we'll reinforce certain areas or weaken certain areas to make sure you're getting the proper frequencies. But ultimately, by giving more feedback and longer duration, we're trying to make sure you know where you hit that ball.
Gotcha.
So if you start dampening vibration, then all of a sudden you're not going to feel as much in certain areas, stuff like that. We want to make sure you get a ton of feel regardless of where you hit it, so that then all right, well, that was a little bit of a toe ball. Yeah. But we still hope the results are good, but we want you to learn from those results.
It'll be interesting to see, Matty, because that was definitely, obviously low and toy. Yeah. We're just kind of getting you warmed up here, but, based on that carry number that you were expecting to see.
And the spin was
you really retained all of it.
That's kind of why I asked, to be honest, because it felt, I don't want to say worse, but it felt, I was very aware that I thinned it.
Right.
Yeah.
And the result seemed, I guess, better than I expected.
You said it was a little bit low on the face?
I think it felt, to me it felt like it was kind of here, a little low and towards the end.
And that's where you're holding a 9 iron right now.
Yes.
So one of the technologies or one of the key design features of this is our tapered blade design, where we put a little bit more mass high, where typically you have mass low, but by putting it high, you actually increase the vertical stability, so the vertical moment of inertia. So in theory, yes, you know that you hit it low, but the head shouldn't rotate as much from that low impact because of that higher increased vertical moment of inertia.
Cool.
So you should get more consistent launch parameters.
Was more solid?
Yeah, sounded good. But it's the consistency, so that's kind of carried the same number. Yeah, much higher.
Like I get.
Wow. Yeah, significantly different impact position.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a miss hit for me, even with my irons being a small cavity, that one there feels like it would have been 5-6 yards different than mine. I know when I thin mine, they go however far, but when you really hammer one in the middle, I'm used to seeing the ball go at least 5-6 yards more.
Right. And when you're talking to the muscle back guy, I mean, distance predictability is everything.
It's everything.
You want to make sure you want to be as tight to that target as possible.
That's good too.
I was going to say that probably sounded like the best one.
Probably, yeah. Caught it the best.
Turned that one over.
I mean, it's certainly not short by any means for a blade. I don't feel like I'm losing any yardage.
It's good.
That was probably just a bit of a quicker swing, maybe. But.
Yeah, it was exactly what I was checking for there. Yeah. Fraction more efficient. Okay. See a few more now. Let's get into the middle iron.
Okay.
So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on hitting a blade, because obviously earlier today we were up at Titleist.
Yeah.
Really surprisingly to us, their blade was the one you hit by far the best.
It was a weird experience.
It was very weird.
Very
weird. We haven't seen that in the past. Whether it's just there's not that many blades in the marketplace for you and I to have tested with.
That's, you know what, that may be part of it.
A bit of that.
I think there may just be more to it than I'm used to, because I just don't have any baseline to say this is how I've hit blades. Yeah. I've more just been of the opinion that there's plenty of people a lot better than me that don't even play blades, so I'm not considering myself in the market for them. But today with that 6-iron, yeah, it's true, it was by far the best, and this has been good so far too.
And this is where I was really excited to get into this set, because as a set that transitions really well from, you know, the scoring clubs and sort of the pure blades from short, mid into the HMBs, that could be something that maybe, you know, gets your attention a little bit more. So you take advantage of that, you know, turf interaction.
That's a good point.
You know, in the low clubs, and then into the longer stuff, you get the help where you need it.
I think the turf interaction has got to be where the discrepancy is. Like Chris, this morning it
was 100%.
Yeah, so we took 3 other models of irons, 4? Whatever it was. Divot pattern was kind of what I'm used to. It looked kind of not deep, but semi-deep. And then I switched to the blade, and the divots were really, really shallow.
The divot shallowed out tremendously.
Right.
And I don't know, it's hard to explain, but the ball just kind of felt like it was coming off really quick. And the ball speeds were still good, considering it was a blade. It was, 5 degrees weaker than the first iron?
The acoustic on your strike changed so dramatically, where in the first ones, you could really hear the extraction of the divot, the turf. Well, you went to the blade, and all you could hear was the interaction of the club and the ball. It was very, very distinct when you went to that blade.
And a lot of that, I think, is if you look at the blade itself and the sole profile, a lot of the modern blades, looking at comparing it to blades of the past, there's a ton of camber on them.
Yeah.
So a lot more camber there, and a lot more blunted leading edge, and really a beveled off trailing edge as well, that helps that just glide right through the turf very cleanly. Exactly.
Absolutely.
The camber, Chris, is it's kind of a radius like this at the bottom of the club. Is that what that means?
So there's radius in that direction. There's also a lot of camber radius from the front to the back.
Yeah.
That's where we really try to focus, is make sure it's not just, if you think of a blade in the past, it used to be the face, and then the sole was almost like a line that went right into it. We put a lot of camber on there. So there's, really just a big, almost round area on there. And that helps it exit the turf very, very cleanly off a number of different lies.
Yeah. We're trying so hard to get that message across in a lot of these review videos, when we're trying to explain to people where they're going to find performance and forgiveness. And these are big things that just don't get talked about enough. People talk about the size of the cavity, the multi-material, where there's maybe some tungsten that will produce higher MOI. But these sorts of design characteristics are equally as important.
You're totally right. It's so funny when you're doing a fitting with, call it an average golfer. I don't think I've ever heard someone talk about, well, how did that enter and exit the turf?
Yeah.
When we're working with the pros, Luke Donald, his first comment is, let me look at my divot, let me see how it felt going through the turf. That's one of the absolute most critical things he's looking for, is how it performs in and out of the turf.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, we hit a little mid-iron. All right, Matty, so we have ourselves a 7-iron. So we're just testing some 9, we'll go middle iron, and then we're going to go into the HMB.
Okay. That's good.
That's a good looking flight. Nice.
Strike.
Yeah, I mean, just a little low in the toe, 132.5 ball speed. Matt, that's pretty high.
Yeah, it's good.
You're normally kind of 133, 132 with your own set, so
definitely not higher than that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're carrying a degree more loft with this, so this is 34.
That's right, 34 degrees on the
It's got an extra degree. Gotcha. Yeah, the spin number looks quite good.
Sounded really good there.
Yeah, those two both felt quite
Those
good.
Excellent.
Might have been a little bit better strike. Hard to say. Similar. Interesting. All right, so
But
with that in mind,
I'm keen to see this one.
Me too.
Yeah.
I want to see.
You want to go straight to the 4? You want to try the 4 and the 5?
Let's do it.
Let's do the 4.
Let's do the 4 for sure.
Well, this is an exciting one. I'm excited to see just because we haven't offered a lot of technology to the better player on the lefty side for a number of years.
Right.
We've always put our, I guess you call it middle of the road, our shallow cavity or something like that for the lefty. So to bring able to bring the HMB technology and the chromoly into the lefty, we're very excited about that.
All right.
What do you think? So you've used there the 9 and the 7 transitioning into the 4.
It looks really good.
Yeah.
I mean, it obviously has a little bit more size to it, but it's not much. I think I'm noticing it's probably a longer blade, Chris.
It's a little bit longer from heel to toe, a little bit wider. Everything is very incremental. You know, it's slightly bigger. Ultimately, because it's required when you're making that type of construction, you have to have a little bit more thickness to be able to, weld together the front and the back. So.
No, it looks good. I mean, it is a bit bigger, but I think it looks still quite compacted. Yeah, it blends nice.
One thing you'll notice on the whole set is we beveled off the top line a good amount. So even though there is more thickness up there, you don't see all of that thickness at address.
Sub-angled, yeah.
That's a good point. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Just a little heavy.
A little heavy, but you've retained most of it.
Yeah. It was mostly good. That's better.
See the flight come up really nicely there, Matty.
Nice.
That's high.
It is. It's surprising. Yeah, it flies really nice.
It's a nice strike there.
It's quick.
You feel that in the heel?
Not the heel feels solid to me, as you know.
I kind of like it in there.
Dialed into the heel.
The heel side feels really solid to me, so I'm probably the wrong one to ask. No, it feels really good so far.
Good.
Yeah.
That's pretty. It wasn't a great strike. It came out pretty nice though. Just turned it a little bit.
You can tell it's got a little bit more pop to it.
For sure it does. Yeah.
Definitely does.
There we go.
There we go.
That's better.
Yeah, real nice strike.
Yeah, really nice. I mean, that's
centered, I think.
That's coming in like a 7 iron. Look at the height of that one there.
120 on that. Wow.
123 peak, coming in at just shy of 47 degrees into the green, Matty. That's really, really good.
And one thing you'll see from a lot of these clubs from us is there's a lot of low spin clubs out there.
Yeah.
And for a club like this, we weren't designing it to be an overly low spin. You know, it's not designed to be a driving iron. It's designed to be a specific iron.
Yeah.
So it's still coming in, still maintaining a good amount of spin on it. So it's coming in soft and hopefully helping you maintain those distance gaps.
It doesn't, it's a good way of putting it because it seems like the ball speed and everything progresses properly and the spin and launch are normal, but it doesn't feel and look like a flight of a driving iron at all.
Right.
This is more like just an iron that has a little bit more help to it.
Yeah.
And that's where you've seen from Mizuno, there's a lot of driving irons, and then we actually don't even call them that. We don't call them driving irons. We don't call them, and we call them DLRs, direct long iron replacements. So what we're trying to do is not deliver something that goes a completely different trajectory. We're trying to deliver something that improves on the other trajectory. So if you're typically when you get into that 22 degrees somewhere like that, that's where a lot of people see the ball speed drop off, and those distance gaps start to compress. And we want to try to maintain proper launch angle, proper spin, and just stretch that distance gap out. And that's where that does that a good amount with the hot metal.
I mean, I definitely don't hit my 4 iron 120 feet in any testing we've done. I'm pretty sure it's below 100, maybe like 90-ish, 95 at most.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the same kind of, I think, launch and spin that this has.
That one really gets up easily for you.
Yeah, it doesn't seem
Really
like it's
easily.
a struggle to launch it up high, does it?
It's great.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
So, as a sort of blend, would you play something with those characteristics? Would that be something you would look at, something with more sort of a solid feedback in the shorter irons, and then more sort of helping trajectory, sort of lifting the
I think
long?
I would, yeah. Yeah, I think I would. Probably want to spend a little bit more time, maybe trying like the 5 and 6 irons a little bit more, but I don't think that the 7 iron or anything lacked in forgiveness. It didn't seem like the couple that were missed were bad enough to be a concern. I think when I hit mine, they're about the same anyway. Seems like the turf interaction is better enough that it would be worth looking into for sure.
That's great.
Very cool. Excellent. All right, well, that's the SEL. I love we were able to do that with Matty, because we really haven't done much with you in terms of testing. We done, obviously, 919 forged was the lefty option in the JPX line. Split cavity last year was the MP18 offering in lefty. So I'm glad we got players iron in your hand and done a little testing with it. That was great. It
was fun.
Okay, we've got more to come, guys. We are testing the MMC line coming up. We obviously have a righty tester coming in for that. So that's the video that we're going to follow with this one. We'll kind of complete the lineup, and we'll see you again soon.